Hey, Tony Gaskins here, popping in. Want to talk with you. On my ride home, got about an hour. Was with my daddy today. We went to our land. I bought me 10 acres of land and hoping to be able to build on it. So when I get the plans, y'all stay tuned, because I'm gonna be pre-selling the vacation, the retreats, where you can come and stay at my retreat center. Be a little like a retreat wellness center. Come and relax, unwind, write your book, just unplug, turn the phone off, create your little package, whether you want a chef there or a personal trainer there, or whether you want to do coaching sessions with me or my dad on Zoom. Just create your little wellness package getaway. Now it's gonna cost. Now it's probably gonna be about $5 grand a week. Put your little package together. We're gonna figure out the pricing though. But we're gonna be, so get your life right, get your life in order, get ready for it. And probably about in a month, I'm gonna launch my other company, part of my health and wellness companies. And so y'all stay tuned for that. That's gonna look product in that area, a little initial product, then we're gonna do more products in that space. So just keep your mind right, stay tuned. Now I wanted to talk to you about this because it's something that, you know, me being a life coach, but primarily a relationship coach, and what I want to say to y'all first and foremost is don't be ashamed of love. Like, we live in this society where they are online, there's so much stuff trending online that is making fun of love, and people, I coach so many women that have to pretend like they want to talk about business and entrepreneurship just to get to a relationship question. And it's like, relationships matter, and relationships, that's the most important thing in life. Like, your relationship stuff is more important than your career and your business, because when you look at the real world and you actually think about it, nobody's job is killing them really, but people dying every day in a relationship. So you have to learn everything you can learn about a relationship, learn everything you can learn about men, learn everything you can learn about women, about love, about marriage, about situationships. Like, don't be ashamed and afraid to be consumed with your relationship and learning about it and understanding it and getting to the root of it. There's nothing wrong with that, because it can give you life or it can kill you. And if you play with it, it's a major price to pay. So don't let nobody make you feel less than. And that's what made me want to talk about this, because, you know, I have to, you know, my wife, we married, and we have to address this in our own marriage and over the years to just make sure that it's healthy, because as couples we get so selfish, and we don't pay attention to our effort and what we're doing in a relationship, and we only want to do what's comfortable, and we only want to do what's convenient, and we don't realize that a relationship and showing love in your relationship is about loving your spouse the way he or she needs to be loved, not the way you want to love. You love your spouse the way they need to be loved. And that has nothing to do with what you want to do and what you feel like doing. It has nothing to do with that. You have to identify how they love. And oftentimes, if you pay attention, people will love you the way they want to be loved. So you have to pay attention to that. And what that means is, if your spouse is very playful and they always playing around and joking, they want that And they want that type of love. Like, they want for you to be playful and jokey and, you know, playing around and stuff. And so you got, but that may not be your personality. That may not be how you get down, but you got to take note of that. And then say, okay, man, let me get uncomfortable. Like, let me get uncomfortable and let me play around. Let me do what my spouse want to do. And you got to do that because that's them showing you like, hey, this is what I want to do. And when you do that and you the mature person and you take the lead on that, what they're going to start to do is they're going to start to look to how they can love you. And if they don't, then you got to express that. So in a relationship, you got to lead in love, you got to lead by example, but then you also got to communicate and you got to express. Y'all, let me turn my watch off because I had turned it on for I was helping my daddy. Helping my daddy put up 2 TVs in his house. I'm like, man, a lot of people barely putting up 1 TV, man. You got 2 TVs. And he got my 80-inch TV out my house that I used to have in my living room that went to my mom. And then now she moved out of her house, and now my daddy got her TV she ain't need it at the other house. And so now my daddy got it. I helped him. It felt good. I've been fasting. I'm not fasting today. I ate today. I ate yesterday. So I'm going to be fasting tomorrow and just let my body reset. And I'll probably fast maybe Monday and Tuesday. But it felt good being able to lift them heavy TVs and not breathing hard and not, you know, out of breath. Go back to what I was saying. So you got to be able to express what you feeling. If your partner not connecting with you and on that page, and it should not be just one-sided. And a lot of times we just don't think about this in a relationship, and we're not processing like what needs to be understood. Like, you gotta process, okay, am I giving enough? Am I doing enough? And when you talk to other people about it, a lot of times you're not gonna get the right advice because humans are selfish by nature. And so when you talking to people, they most likely they're gonna tell you something that's selfish. Very rarely will you talk to somebody who's gonna give you selfless advice and say, yeah, be selfless, you know, you just gotta do what you gotta do. You know, if your wife wants you to, you know, fix the toilet, you tired, you've been working in the hot sun all day, but it just really mean a lot to her when you show acts of service, and you know, you a handyman around the house, like you a handyman for the world. It mean the world to her. So you just got to do it. Even though you the breadwinner, even though you make all the money, you know, sometimes you just gotta wash those dishes, you know, or cook dinner, even though you don't work. And just go that extra mile and just show it. And then to the wife, you know, yes, you might not be feeling well all the time. You may, but hey, if your husband needs some love making, it ain't always got to be this passionate two-way street what people talking about. Like, if you not feeling it, then you got to tell yourself, yes, I'm not feeling it, but I'm gonna do this for my spouse. And that's what people get wrong about a relationship, is they think that everything got to be a win-win. It's not a win-win for a provider, for a breadwinner who get up, rain, sleet, or snow, and go make it happen. That's not a win-win, because when you're a provider, you don't always feel like going to work. You don't always feel like doing that, but you got to get up and do it because you got a family to take care of. So the same thing, if your spouse needs sex, or they need cuddling time, or they need just quality time talking or going on a date, you don't always feel like it. But if they want to do that, sometimes you got to just do that. Because, and you got to get uncomfortable, and you got to do it because that's a part of your relationship. That's a big part of your relationship. Because what you won't do, somebody else will. And a lot of people don't like to hear that, but that's the truth. What you won't do, somebody else will. When you get complacent, just being lazy and doing the bare minimum, somebody else gonna step up in a moment of your spouse's vulnerability, and they're gonna start to fill a void. And it may not be anything crazy. It might not be sexual. It might just be emotional. It might be friendly. It might be comical. It might be like, it don't have to be some deep situation. And so you got to think about that. You got to realize that you got to be your spouse's everything. And you got to take pride in that. Like, don't let the world make you feel like you a lame, you a sucker, you a duck, you a simp, you a pushover, because you bending over backwards for or forward for your partner. Like, don't allow the world to make you feel like that, because that right there, that's a trick of the enemy. Like, we supposed to be selfless. We supposed to be locked in. We supposed to be supporting each other. We supposed to be on that level. Like, we supposed to be that. And it is what it is. And so you got to realize and understand that. And you got to take pride in loving at the level you can love, but also, if your partner is not reciprocating, you have to express that. And you may have to say, hey, I have needs as well, and I'm giving everything that I can give to meet your needs, but when it comes to my needs and the things that I need from you, I don't feel like you're prioritizing my needs or doing what I need from you, and it's just not wise, nor is it fair, because a relationship should be reciprocal. And by you not doing that, you open up our relationship to temptations of the flesh and the adversary sneaking in. Oh, what you trying to say? Oh, what do you mean? Are you trying to say you're gonna cheat? I'm not saying that I'm gonna cheat, but I'm saying this makes it very possible for, in a moment of weakness, in a moment of vulnerability, in a moment of feeling unappreciated and unloved or disrespected, someone could slip in saying all the right things and be playing a game and literally trying to, slip in, and they go unnoticed. The game is not recognized because of the state of unappreciation or vulnerability or whatever it may be. And that's just real talk. You just expressing the truth. And I think a lot of times, if we hear what we're doing can cause this or could lead to that, in the moment we may get offended and we may get an attitude and say, well, fine, go cheat then. Fine, go do what you want to do then. Fine, if that's what it is. But then when we sit with ourselves and we really think about what we just said and we really hear that, then we kind of gonna be like, you know what? Hold on. You know what? That's real stupid of me to okay my spouse to go get into an affair because I'm being lazy, because I don't want to get out of my comfort zone and love the way they need to be loved. And now, one of the things about it, you always have somebody stupid in the comments. Oh, Tony, we just praying for your marriage because it sounds like you talking about your own marriage. For one, I want you to understand, yes, I'm always talking about my own marriage because I'm married. So every marriage has to go through this. Every marriage, you got to learn this. And two, no, I'm never talking about my marriage because I am a teacher. This is what I do. I'm not a vlogger. I'm a relationship coach. So I have to teach on things that we go through as married couples. So mind the business that pays you. Thank you. Back to regular scheduled programming. So this is something where every single couple will go through this, because there will be times where the woman feels she's doing everything. She working 40 hours a week, she cooking dinner, she doing the dishes, she cleaning the house, and she just wants something in return. She wants some reciprocation. And she looking at her man and she feel like he is just plopping up his feet and just living the life. And she feel unappreciated, she feel used, she's exhausted, and she just wants something in return. Maybe a back rub, maybe a massage that doesn't have to end in sex all the time. Maybe she want her husband to cook dinner even just 1 or 2 days out of the 7. Maybe she want him to wash the dishes. If she cook, prepare the food, cook it, serve it, maybe she want him to wash the dishes, or even buy a dishwasher and load the dishwasher. Maybe it's something like that she wants, and she feeling like that. And then you gonna have husbands who he may be like, man, hey, I'm working in this hot sun, building these houses, doing the construction, or I'm working all day, racking my brain as an accountant or whatever, and you don't have to work, and I'm taking care of family, and all I want is just a home-cooked meal. All I want is just a clean house, or all I want is just a little bit of sex. And he feeling unappreciated, he feeling used, he feeling taken advantage of, and so he just wants some reciprocation. And every couple goes through that, and the reason why we all go through it is because as humans, we can be very selfish. It's easy for us to get complacent. So if my wife is cooking and cleaning and sexing, I could be in this utopian world and just feeling so fantabulous that for a moment I just received the treatment, and it may be a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I'm just receiving this treatment, and then I convince myself in my mind that I deserve this, that this is a king's treatment and I'm a king. And then I could forget that, hey, I need to be reciprocated. Like, let me rub some feet, let me do this or that, like. And then gotta remember, and it could go both ways. It could go both ways, and we got to realize and understand that we all go through that. But what needs to become the norm is couples fighting to please each other. Not fighting against each other, but fighting to please each other. Couples coming to a place to where the man doing everything he can to please the woman, and the woman doing everything she can to please the man. And it becomes this understanding of like, hey, what do you need? Okay, what do you need? All right, let's do that. And not just going through the motions and just feeling like, okay, one party is getting what they need, and because they getting what they need, and because the other partner is doing it with a smile on their face, service with a smile, you thinking that everything cool in your relationship, But everything cool because your needs are being met and your partner is doing it. Your spouse is doing it with a smile. They doing it without complaining. And so your needs being met. But what you got to think about is, are you meeting your spouse's needs? Are you doing the things that your spouse needs from you? So when you look at it, you got to ask yourself, okay, what's my baseline? And am I there? Like, am I happy in my relationship? And if the answer is yes, the next question is, you got to say, is my spouse happy? Because if you're happy in your relationship, there's a good possibility your spouse may not be fully happy. Because if they making you happy, that means they pouring out, they giving, and you gotta ask, man, am I giving equally? And then you may say, yes, I'm giving, but what are you giving? If you're just giving money because you're the provider, okay, that's not enough. Because we have more needs than just one thing. If you're just giving sex, okay, that's not enough. If you're just giving words of affirmation, like if you're just giving one or two things, we complex human beings. So you got to really look at the totality of, your, I need to go to that place, take my Sprint over there, get some service done. You got to look at the totality of your partner and say, okay, when I look at my partner, what does my partner like? My partner likes to hear encouraging words, affirming words. My partner likes gifts, like for nothing gifts, random surprises. My partner likes just quality time to talk, just converse about whatever. My partner likes to wrestle, or to go to a movie, or to walk in the park. You got to really look at it and you start checking off the boxes. But don't just check off the boxes. Don't just check off the boxes. Look at it and say, okay, all right, my partner like that, but have I communicated my needs? Have I talked about the things that I need? Man, there's a lot of RV companies like all right next to each other. Boy, see, that's a sign right there. Stop waiting to launch your dream talking about it's oversaturated. I just passed by 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 RV companies all within a few miles of each other. And they ain't worried about the competition. They like, man, I'm finna get my stuff off. I ain't worried about what y'all got going on, man. Hey, get your stuff off. Do what you gotta do. So listen, think about it. And really ask yourself, where are you in your relationship? And then you gotta find the time to communicate. Talk about it. See where you at. And in the communication, you got to be open to receive. You got to be open to hear what your spouse is saying. Because we don't like to hear anything as humans. If we talking and somebody come to critique me and tell me I need to do this better, I need to do that better, I ain't trying to hear that. I want to get defensive. I want to get defensive, defend myself. I want to make some excuses for my behavior, for my choices, for my inaction, or my lack of effort. I want to make me some good old excuses. No, that ain't gonna fly. That ain't gonna fly. I need to be able to, okay, all right, that's what you need. Versus making excuses and saying, oh, you don't understand this. Oh, you don't this right here, that right there. No. Stop making excuses and make changes. Do what it takes. And I remember I used to do that as a husband. Now, me and my wife, we got married very young. And I remember, here we is, I used to be on my phone all the time. It was back when BlackBerry was in. I'd be on my phone all the time. I still be on my phone all the time now, but I'll be listening. I know how to put it down and listen, but I used to be on my phone all the time, non-stop. I work hard, you know, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm always Googling something, looking up the next thing. I'm always doing something, making some shake, making some move. I'm a real bona fide hustler. And my wife, she used to be like, you know, we'll talk and I'll be like, well, what you need from me? And she'll be like, I need just like 30 minutes of your undivided attention. And instead of me just listening and being like, man, that ain't nothing, 30 minutes out of 24 hours, man, that's easy, man, I can do that. Instead of me being like that, I'll be like, you know, don't you understand? I gotta make money. You know, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm always waiting on the next blessing. You know, I gotta provide and I gotta take care of things and I gotta make money, and this, you know, we got bills and stuff that got to be paid. So I was trying to make an excuse as if I had to work around the clock when it really wasn't nothing for me to do. And the same thing is like, it could vice versa. It could be the other way around as well. I'm just using myself for an example, but you got to look and say, okay, am I making excuses or am I making changes? And understand that changes have to be made. Because if not, once your spouse addresses what they need, if you don't make changes and give what they need, you're going to end up having to pay a price. You're going to end up having to pay a price. And when you have to pay that price, it ain't going to be affordable. That price tag ain't going to be pretty. And then you're going to look up and be like, man, I should have listened. My spouse tried to tell me what he or she needed, but I didn't listen. I didn't take heed to what was being said. I ignored it, and now I'm paying this price. Y'all forgive me, turn my seat heat on. My back hurting a little bit. Been in the car for be 8 hours. By the time I get home, been in the car 8 hours a day. And this sports SUV, so the seats is kind of like race car seats, not big comfortable captain chairs. And so you got to think about this, and you got to appreciate the feedback that you get. And a lot of times what we do as humans is we'll give our spouse some feedback based on our deficiency and our lack of effort. So we almost try to, and so it kind of one hand wash the other and both hands wash the face type of situation, where we'll be like, okay, well, you need this, well, I need this. And it's like, so what me and my wife thing was, it was like, I'll be like, hey, I need me a little more Kuda. And she was like, hey, well, I need me a little more quality time. Like, how you expect me to get in the mood and want to be intimate if you just been on your phone all day? And I'll be like, that's a good point. So it's basically like, I don't need you, you don't need me, we need each other. If that makes sense. We need each other. One hand wash the other, both hands wash the fade. That's really what that means. So it's really like, if I give her what I want, then I get. If I give her what she wants, then I get what I want. And vice versa. But a lot of times we don't realize that it goes hand in hand. And we just thinking about what we want because we selfish and we greedy. And instead of looking and saying, okay, well, how can I make this work? But hey, I'm gonna cut that right there. You get the point. I'll just be saying the same thing over and over. And just for the husbands who watching this, I know our attention span is sometimes a little different than the wives. God bless you. Make sure you get on over to Tony Gass's Academy. While the life coach certification, add you that second stream of income. You like helping people, you kind of already doing it. Go get certified while it is at its low price of $997. Get certified, and then once you certify, you can join mymentor.life and start promoting your page to your friends and family on Facebook. Let them spread it to their co-workers. Start getting you some bookings. You can also come to me and do a promo package for me to promote it, and go ahead and add that second stream, that purpose work, and I will see you at the top. God bless you.